Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen something and stopped for a second and thought, that's not possible? As if a glitch or malfunction had happened in reality itself. Today we're diving in to one of the most fascinating ideas ever discussed in science and philosophy. The possibility that reality itself is a simulation. We're going to watch some clips. These clips are claimed to show glitches in reality itself. Things disappearing, things acting in an impossible way. Some are going to be easily explained. Some are going to be a little harder to explain. But the question will remain, do we live in the Matrix?
What if everything you think you know about reality is wrong? What if the glitches, the mysteries, and the unanswered questions are clues from conspiracies and the paranormal to science, consciousness, and the possibility we're living in a simulation? This is the One Opinion in 8 billion podcasts. Every week, we dive into the biggest mysteries of our world. Subscribe now and be a part of the discussion. Question everything. Nothing is off limits.
Welcome everyone to One Opinion in 8 billion, the podcast. As you've already gathered, today's topic, the Matrix theory, aka simulation theory. Most people recognize these ideas from the film The Matrix, but the concept actually exists in real philosophy. It's called the simulation hypothesis. The idea that an advanced civilization could create entire universes, including conscious beings inside them. If millions of simulation worlds exist, statistically it might actually be that we live inside one of those than in original reality that we know. Now I know you're sitting there saying that sounds crazy, but when you look at the technology we have available today, it becomes a little less far-fetched, don't you think? Now look at games like The Sims, or open world games, one of my favourites, Skyrim. Entire worlds and maps, characters walking around, designed however you want. Cities, weather, ecosystems. The only real difference between those and us is awareness or self-awareness and consciousness. So the question becomes, what happens when our technology becomes so advanced it can simulate anything and everything? So we're going to go through a compilation now of weird glitchy videos caught on camera. We'll play them, discuss them, let me know what you think in the comments. Now the credit goes to a YouTuber known as 50M Videos. Please go to their channel and subscribe, and if you like the wacky, glitchy and weird goings on, that's the channel for you. Here we go.
A woman sat in her parked car, casually waiting for her brother, when something strange caught her eye. Not far away, a man appeared to be sprinting, but he wasn't going anywhere. He stayed fixed in the same spot.
Found a glitched person. They look like they're running, right? They're not.
Legs pumping, arms swinging, like an invisible wall blocked him. This continued for nearly 5 minutes. It didn't look normal. It looked like reality itself had frozen him mid-motion. What kind of glitch was she witnessing?
They're staying in place. They've been there for like 2 minutes. What?
Wow, okay guys, so what did you think of that one? Let me know. I mean, it is weird, you know. For me, if I seen something like that, I probably would record it, but what I would like in that is for somebody to go up to them and ask the person if they're okay, and that for me would make it more plausible. It doesn't look fake or edited to me. However, that being said, there is a software out there that you could put a person just running on the spot, which well, we can all do for warm-ups and stuff in exercise. You know, it makes it a lot more realistic with the, you know, of cars moving and turning in the video itself. But it could just be a person standing, running on the spot, and you know, as a prank, you know, and they might not even know each other. But you know, that's just my opinion. For this one for me isn't really glitchy. I think it's more of a person just literally running on the spot and hoping for someone to get their phone out, thinking what the hell's going on here, and recording, do exactly what it's doing. But let me know what you guys think, and let's see the next one. Okay, let's see it.
Flying cars are becoming a real thing, but this one, it wasn't futuristic at all. Recently in Miami traffic, drivers watched something unbelievable. An old school car, the kind you'd expect in a vintage movie, suddenly rose into the air and calmly flew off while everyone sat stuck in a jam.
Yeah, that one's weird.
It just casually lifted up and flew away in front of everyone. Was this some kind of reality glitch? Or a time traveler passing through? You decide. I want to see your comments on this one.
Okay guys, what did you think of that one? I know that the technology for flying cars, hovering cars, you know, things like that, you know, have been being developed for some years now, and some that can, you know, have wings come out, and whether they're in production or anything, yeah, I don't know. You'd have to look into that yourself. But I know that these flying vehicles have been tested and have been, you know, being designed and made and prototyped. The video, I mean, it's crazy. Even if it's fake, it's crazy. Again, it's that far-fetched to see that. I don't know. I can't believe that that's real, but it could very well be. And if it is, it's definitely proof that something's not quite right. But I would have imagined that if something like that was happening, and if I was filming or if I was in the same vicinity as the traffic, I would imagine to see a lot more people out of their cars, wondering what the hell was going on. So, but might be wrong. Let me know what you think. Okay guys, let's see the next one.
Cats. Cats often behave in strange or unusual ways. If you're a cat lover, stay with me and tell me what you think. In this clip, a group of cats can be seen moving around in a perfect circle. They are all different cats, yet they keep walking in the same loop without stopping.
Now that's weird. Really weird.
To me, it looks like some kind of strange loop glitch because this didn't happen for just a few minutes. It continued from night until morning, completely different from normal cat behavior.
Okay guys, what did you think of that one? Do let me know in the comments. For me, that is really weird. I'm not sure if it's, I mean, I get why it's on a Matrix glitch, you know, any gamers out there, or even any computer users, you know, there's been what they call looping. So I do get that. But for me, this is more just, you know, paranormal overall. It's definitely weird. I think this is the most plausible one we've seen so far. You know, how could you get cats to react that way? And it's just very uniformed and odd, and it's a bit eerie, that one. I don't know if that's a glitch in the Matrix, but it's definitely odd. And you know, if it could well be, you know, thinking about it, you know, like a copy and paste, and then put them, you know, there is no limitation to what can be done in games and video, and so it could very well be glitchy or matrixy, but for me it's just spooky, eerie, and just odd. But let's see the next one. Okay guys, on we go.
Mysterious tap. A man captured a bizarre scene outside his house. A broken tap was floating in midair. yet water was flowing from it as if nothing was wrong. Normally, a tap needs to be fixed to a wall for water to flow, but this one had no support whatsoever. The stream poured naturally, defying physics and common sense. Witnessing something so impossible left him stunned. It wasn't broken plumbing, it was a glitch in plain sight, a moment where reality seemed to bend in front of him.
Okay guys, what do you make of that? Please let me know in the comments on that one. If there's any plumbers out there watching this, then I would be very interested to know how any of that's possible. I am struggling to find how that's even possible. I mean, we watch all these videos and we see all these photos, and I've always said, like I've said on the paranormal, you know, it's reactions that I go on. Now this guy's just standing there like it's a celebrity crush, and they're just like, hey, what's going on? I don't know what I'd do. I don't know if I'd be smiling. I don't know. I'd find it so odd and intriguing at the same time, but I'd find it just completely impossible. So, I mean, any picture and video can be modified, adapted, you know, with photo editing, AI, but it's definitely odd. I'd love to hear your theories, but for me, that one's just crazy, and because it's so out there, I can only assume that it's falsified or fake. If it's not, then that 100% it for me is well, what more proof would you need? But let's move on and we'll see the next one. Okay guys, let's see it.
Shadow Professor. In China, during a class, a guy noticed something strange. The classroom had a mirror-like divider, and the professor appeared in it with a shadowy figure beside him. But when he looked past the mirror, everything was normal. Was this a strange glitch or something more mysterious? River glitch.
I'm gonna just, you know, pause this one and give that one a quick discussion, because I mean, I didn't really see much of anything. Well, I mean, let's...
The guy noticed something strange. The classroom had a mirror-like divider, and the professor appeared in it with a shadowy figure beside him. But when he looked past the mirror, everything was normal. Was this a strange glitch or something more mysterious? River glitch.
That one's weird, guys. I don't even know which way to go on that one because of the way it was filmed. I don't know what to say, but we'll go on to the next one and we'll go from there.
Now this one is going to puzzle you. A man in China picked up a rock, showing clearly how heavy it was. Then he threw it into a river, and guess what happened? Instead of sinking, the rock started floating on the water.
Okay.
Normally, something that heavy would instantly sink, but this didn't happen. There was no problem with the rock, and the water looked normal. So, was this a glitch, or something strange happening with reality in that river? Cloud glitch.
Okay guys, that one for me, yeah, definitely odd. It defies the laws of physics. You know, heavy objects, we all know, fall to the bottom when they're in liquid. Well, you know, especially in water. The only problem I had with that clip is that I don't know if they've just cut it for saving time, but you know, they're throwing it on the floor, clearly showing that it's heavy and hard, so it should be sinking. But then we don't. If I've seen a pan of someone watching him smash it and then throw the same thing that he's just smashed on the floor into the water and it did that for me would be completely crazy. Now, I mean, I know that salt, so in salt water, you know, that can help you float. That's been well documented in physics. But I've got to be honest, I don't actually know if it can happen with rocks, or if it just happens with humans or and animals. Maybe you can research it and let me know in the comments. But let's move on and go from there. Okay guys, let's see it.
Have you ever seen rain happening in only one spot? Watch this clip. Here, the rain isn't falling over an area. It's coming down on a single spot, right on a car, while everything around stays completely dry. It's a proper daytime scene, and everywhere else is normal. How is this possible? The clouds above are producing...
I was just thinking, that's why I laughed. Have you ever watched The Truman Show? You know, that film is a great film to go and watch about, you know, it's Jim Carrey, and basically it's a whole film set of his sort of town and sort of outskirts surroundings in a massive dome. And there's a spot on that where when he's starting to sort of notice things that are weird, and it rains just on him, and then he keeps moving quickly. So that's quite amusing. But let's carry on.
Rain for just one tiny spot. This looks like a glitch in reality. If you have any idea, drop your comments below. Floating building.
Okay, guys, what did you think of that one? Now, like I said about The Truman Show, if you haven't seen that film, you really need to go and watch it, because it is absolutely brilliant film. But it also is a great film to watch if you're interested in glitchy things like this. That one's staged and lots of actors and stuff like that. But it just goes to show, you know, on a one-person scale, how easily it could be manipulated, especially from an early enough age. Now, I remember once when I first went to Florida in the US, we were there and there was a huge tropical storm that broke out. I think we were there in maybe August. I was only about 10 or 11. And we literally seen some of the most craziest lightning and rainfall I've ever seen. But we got to one bridge, and I remember flying over it, and the rain just stopped. So my mum's partner at the time actually stopped the car, and we pulled over and walked back, and we could literally stand with our arms out, and one was getting wet and one wasn't. Now, for me, in that particular scenario, obviously the clouds are going to end somewhere, so there is going to be, you know, a rain break. So, I mean, it was weird. It was definitely weird, and I've talked about it my whole life. But I don't think that was the same type of glitch we've just seen. I think if what we've just seen is true, that tiny little car roof size, that for me is very odd, and that's why I smirked, because I just thought of the film The Truman Show. So I don't know, but that is weird. Normally clouds are, you know, they're vast, you know, covering, you know, miles. So it's interesting, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's go to the next one.
Buildings. A guy was on a beach in Mexico when he saw something that made him question his own eyes. Far above the sea, on the clouds, multiple massive buildings appeared, huge and impossible. Shocked, he recorded the entire scene and shared it online on TikTok. People reacted with different theories. Some believed it looked like a floating city, suspended in the sky. Others thought it was a glitch, an illusion created by the clouds mimicking real buildings. Either way, the moment was surreal, leaving viewers amazed and unsure what they had actually witnessed. Fish.
Okay, guys, what did you think of that one? I mean, the most obvious thing to go to is that they're just skyscrapers, you know, coming through the clouds. But then, obviously, when the video continues, you see that there's water surrounding them. So that makes, you know, there's no land in sight, even on to the horizon. So that makes that a little less plausible, a little less likely that it's just skyscrapers going through. Now, the video quality isn't the best, but yet the buildings through the clouds almost look, well, they look a lot better in quality than the actual video itself. So for me, I don't believe that one. I think that one's a hoax. I think that is a video that's had the buildings put over the clouds, some sort of editing. The only thing that did make me a little bit odd is if you look to the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see like two like blotches. I don't know if they're water splotches from the water or what, but they're always fixed. So that was a little bit odd. But if that was real, then yeah, I mean, you know, sky's the limit, no pun intended. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we'll go to the next one. Here we go.
Glitch. While exploring the town's aquarium, a woman spotted something that made her stop in her tracks. In one tank, every fish was completely motionless. It seemed impossible that so many creatures could freeze in the same spot at once. She tapped the glass, expecting a twitch or ripple, but nothing stirred, not even the tiniest shrimp. The tank looked like a perfect still photograph. The scene was surreal, as if reality itself had paused inside the glass, leaving her stunned and questioning whether she was witnessing a glitch in nature.
What's going on? Why are they standing still?
Standing still. That was quite funny. Yeah, this one's another weird one. You know, unless that is a, you know, you don't go to an aquarium to see dead things, so you know it's not going to be like a resin tank with loads of picture fish or real dead fish, you know, whatever. It's not going to be anything like that. If it was, I'd want my money back. Let me know what you guys think, but that one is very weird. I mean, you could see that there was a few people standing around noticing that it was a bit odd. To be honest, I'd like to see more of that scene, and I'd like to see him go round all around the area, just so I can see, you know, maybe if there's another tank nearby where everything's fine. I'd like to see all that in the kind of the same clip, but that was definitely weird. That was definitely a weird one, like the cats. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll go on to the next one.
On a Paris highway, something truly weird happened. A motorcycle was moving along the road with no rider at all. Broad daylight, full traffic, yet it rolled forward perfectly on its own.
Ça, c'était le 28 mai, le jour de la fête des mères. Je revenais de mon week-end à Coulommiers.
Okay,
Stopped and stared, confused. Was it an automatic bike or something completely unexplainable? Its movement looked real, smooth, and natural, but nothing about it made sense. What do you guys think? Was it a glitch, some kind of invisible control, or a ghostly rider at work?
Okay, guys, what did you think of that one? The clips are definitely getting better. You know, or more adventurous. I mean, yeah, there's plausible that you can have, you know, things like this can be done in films and stuff like that. Green screens and stuff like that, where you take the person that's riding the bike out and then put that over another video. It's a lot of work for what we were seeing. You know, the bike didn't slow down, so it's not like somebody fell off or jumped off and then obviously continued. It seemed to be going at a sort of a continual pace. It's very odd. The other thing with a bike, you know, something that hasn't got sort of stabilization, or a car which has got the four wheels, when it's just the two wheels, you know, the person balances the bike. So, you know, if this is real, then that's crazy. I don't expect to see many people standing, you know, viewing this one, because obviously it's moving at a high rate of speed. They're on a highway or motorway, and you know, the likelihood of them getting out to go and see what's going on is unlikely. So for that one, you know, that's irrelevant on this particular clip, but it's definitely weird. I'd love to know what you guys think. I know that obviously these things can be manipulated and edited, but for me, that one, I don't know, just seemed a bit odd. It didn't quite seem as if it would be, you know, the colorings and the film, you know, the whoever was filming, you know, the technology, the pixels and everything, it all looked kind of very similar. So that was very odd for me, but let me know what you guys think and we'll move on. Here we go.
A recently shared clip from the 1990s has caught everyone's attention for a very odd reason. Amidst the cheering and clapping crowd, one elderly woman suddenly freezes mid-clap. Her face turns blank, her movements paused, as if caught in a glitch or a malfunctioning robot. The strange thing is, this level of technology didn't exist back then. Viewers are left stunned, wondering how such a bizarre and unexplainable moment could appear in footage from decades ago, making it feel like reality briefly skipped a frame. Passenger planes.
Wow, that That one was just freaky. Let me know what you guys think, but that one for me is eerily odd. I mean, unless she's having some sort of medical emergency, which I'm sure would have, well, I say I'm sure, you know, it's only a short clip, but that's very odd because she's clearly there. You know, you can see her clapping at the start of the clip. You can see everyone else clapping around, and she just stops and almost looks like a wax figure. It does literally look like her character or avatar has just been paused. It's very odd, that one. And what makes it even more validated or spooky or crazy or weird is that this was back, I think they said in the 90s, where the technology wasn't anywhere near as advanced as it is today. So the ability to be able to do that to that level without seeing any real life glitch, you know, with you know, any editing tools, that was really weird. I'm pretty sure I've seen that one before. I've seen one that's similar. You know, there's been loads of documented pictures and videos of, you know, high profile people where they've just sort of looked like they've literally been paused from the film Click or something like that. And if you haven't seen that film, go watch it. So Adam Sandler, it's absolutely brilliant. And there's a scene in it where he pauses his boss, which is really hilarious. But the way that he freezes it in that frame was very similar to what we've just seen. But again, the technology to be able to do that wouldn't have been around back then. So let me know your thoughts and we'll move on to the next one. But if you haven't seen Click, definitely go and watch it. It's absolutely hilarious.
Earlier, I showed you a helicopter stuck in midair. Now, watch this. A proper passenger plane was also frozen in the air, mid-flight.
Clouds are moving. Look at the bird. We're still driving. Look at the road. That's insane. It's stuck.
A man nearby saw the whole scene. Everything around was moving normally. The wind, cars, people, but the plane stayed completely still. This clearly shows that glitches are happening around us, and now they are being exposed. The scene was unbelievable and surreal, as if reality paused for a single object, while the world continued moving without interruption.
Okay guys, what did you think of that one? I have seen a few of these, not that particular one, but I've seen a few of them, which have been zoomed out a bit more. I don't know if it's the same one and it's just a different clip we've seen, but they've gone under a flyover in America, you know, a highway over another one. And you can clearly see the plane. It's definitely not moving. It's completely motionless. And that would be some big strings that would need to be able to hold that one up. And where would they be attached to? The moon? For me, that one, I mean, again, I know that, again, editing, you know, you can put a fixed on an overlay video. But for me, that one, again, the pixels look very similar. The one didn't look better than the other, like in the clouds with the buildings. The buildings were sharper than the video footage. So that's what made me think that one was a bit more. But this one's definitely odd. I do know that there's an optical illusion with helicopter blades. If you video record it with your phone, because of the frames per second and how it's recorded, it actually makes sometimes the rotary blades look either not moving or moving very slightly compared to what they are moving, because obviously the RPM of them is going to be ridiculous. But with a plane, you know, moving, I can't fix in my head how that's an illusion. I know that on some of the other ones, people have said about it being an optical illusion, but for me, that one's really odd as well. I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts. If there's any, you know, I don't know, plane engineers or aeronautics or whatever it's called, I'd love to hear your opinions on it. But let's move on and we'll see the next one. Here we go.
Unusual pause. A hunter, his wife, and their hunting dogs ventured deep into the woods. As they went further, something unexpected happened. The dogs and even a nearby bird suddenly froze, stuck in a single position. Nobody could understand what was happening.
Couldn't believe it. You could see the leaves moving and all the bushes, but the dogs were completely still.
It was as if someone had pressed a pause button on the world. After a few minutes, everything resumed normally.
That's
the dogs
nuts.
ran again, the bird flew, and nothing seemed unusual. It was like reality itself had glitched for a brief moment, leaving them stunned and questioning what they had just witnessed.
I need to watch that again. Sorry, guys. What has happened there? Has everything stopped?
Stuck in a single position. Nobody could understand what was happening.
I couldn't believe it.
Where's the
You
third
could
dog?
see the leaves moving and all the bushes, but the dogs were completely still.
It was as if someone had pressed a pause button on the world. After a few minutes, everything resumed normally. The dogs ran again, the bird flew, and nothing seemed unusual. It was like reality itself had glitched for a brief moment.
Eerily, that's the best one we've seen so far. You know, everything else was moving around it again. Pixels all seemed the same. You know, the people that were talking seemed genuine people. That one's crazy for me. That literally looked like someone paused and then clicked continue. But let me know what you guys think. I know that everything can be edited, as I keep saying, but that one for me was probably the most eerily and spooky one of what we're talking about today. But let's go to the next one and go from there.
Extraordinary fish. While cleaning his aquarium, a man slowly drained most of the water, expecting the fish to sink lower with the level. Instead, the fish remained near the top, swimming smoothly as though the tank were still full. Its fins waved naturally, turning and gliding with ease. Yet the tank was almost empty. It looked as if invisible water surrounded it, allowing it to move freely through thin air. The moment felt unreal, like a glitch had rewritten the rules, transforming an ordinary fish into something astonishing.
Wow, what did you guys think? That one was just weird. The water, you can literally see the water draining, and the fish, which would normally go down with the water until it was empty, or you know, wherever there was water. It looked like it was literally swimming in air. I don't know. You know, if there's any software engineers out there, you know, IT, you know, buffs, you know, anyone that knows, you know, how you can use this type of software to manipulate these things, I'd love to hear, because my knowledge is only probably beginner basic at best, but it's very odd how that just looked real. It didn't look falsified for me, so I'd love to hear your comments on that one, and let's move on to the next one.
Water walk. A fisherman on his boat saw something unbelievable. A man appeared to be walking calmly across the water. It looked as if the water wasn't water for him, but a solid road beneath his feet. He walked steadily without sinking, without struggling, as if he had some extra power that allowed him to move across the surface. The video was shared online, and people reacted in different ways. Some said he was a time traveler, while others believed he had some kind of superpowers. Stuck said he was a time traveler. The video was shared online, and people reacted in different ways. To move across the surface. The video was shared online, and people reacted in different ways. Some said he was a time traveler, while others believed he had some kind of superpower.
Those waves are breaking on him. Okay, guys, that one's got me really, really baffled. You know, when I first seen it, I was like, oh yeah, it's just an overlay. There's a couple of problems. One, there's not much, it almost looks like a shadow figure. You know, there's not much defining, you know, that's another reason why I thought it was like an overlay. But if I mean, you see me rewind it a couple of times, if you actually look at the waves when they're hitting him, you know, especially definitely the first one, which I think is the one that you get the best glimpse of, you can actually see the wave reacting to, you know, to his mass, his matter. And it splashes a little bit, you know, past him as it would in real life. That one's odd. I would love to hear anybody all of the skeptics out there hear how you debuff that one, because I was going to straight away debuff it, but the waves breaking on his being, on the matter, that's just weird. They're clearly far enough out. One, they're on a boat, so it's gonna have to be deep enough for the boat to not be scraping along the bottom. You can clearly see that they're far enough out, and he wouldn't be walking like that. Even if he was like 20 foot tall, you can clearly see, the knee area and the legs. So, it's almost like his feet are just submerged. Which brings up, another film, Bruce Almighty, with Jim Carrey, Morgan Freeman, absolutely brilliant film again, where there is a scene where they're walking on water. So, I know these things can be done. But the water breaking on look back, research it, find other videos that might have a longer viewing of it. But let me know what you think, because the water looked like it was breaking and splashing as it hit the person, being whatever it was. But let's move on.
Have you ever seen a helicopter stuck in one place in the air? Obviously not, unless you follow 50 meters. In this footage, a helicopter appears frozen midair. Everything on the ground looks completely normal. Cars moving, people walking.
See, now this is what I mean. I don't know why they're saying about ever seen a helicopter stay in one place, because I have. Police helicopters out and about, you'll often see them hovering. But admittedly, there'd be noise and motion, and this one is looking a bit weird, but also when you've seen the rotary blades then, slightly twitching, that can be an illusion depending on the recording equipment. But let's see the rest of it and see what happens.
Nothing unusual, but the helicopter stays fixed in the same position without drifting. Some people watching from nearby buildings were shocked at what they were seeing. It felt like reality had briefly stopped working, leaving one object suspended in place.
Okay guys, so not much to say more on that one than what I've already said, but let me know what your thoughts are. It definitely got weirder, with the zooming angles and when it was, being played and not specifically frozen to talk about. The rotary blades, like I said, there's definitely an illusion there. But even when you see a real life helicopter hovering, it will have some slight movement, it'll just be sort of fixed in the same sort of area, a bit like a boat or a ship or being anchored. It's going to move around slightly, but it's going to stay fixed in the same general vicinity. But let me know what you guys, if there's any pilots out there, let me know your thoughts. But that was an odd one as well, like the plane one. It just felt eerily not like a hovering helicopter. It seemed literally like it has been paused. But move on. Here we go.
Without moving. Have you ever seen someone jogging in place, but it looks completely real? Watch this clip. It seems like the man is in a hurry, maybe running to get home, but he isn't moving forward at all. His legs keep moving, but he stays stuck in one spot. After moving forward, it seems like you've seen someone jogging in place.
If you look at the fence
but it
on
looks
the right, guys,
real.
you can see he is moving forward.
It seems like the man is in a hurry, maybe running to get home, but he isn't moving forward at all. His legs keep moving, but he stays stuck in one spot. After a short while, he suddenly starts walking normally, as if nothing happened. The moment is strange, unusual, and unexplainable. Almost like he got caught in a glitch or a loop in reality itself.
Alright guys, what do you think of that one? Yeah, like I said, you can definitely see him moving forward, but it's like he's got like the most amount of wind in his face and he just can't, it looks like he's going faster than he's getting. But for me, that one's very similar to either the first one or one of the first ones with the person that was running on the spot. That could have, I could demonstrate it now where you're just running on the spot and going, you're going forward very, very slightly, making it look very odd. Now, for me, I loved one of the blokes that was, or one of the people that were walking towards him to stop and be like, are you all right? Because that would, that's something that I'd do. I'd just be like, what is going on here? it's very odd that he just stops and then just carries on walking about as if nothing's going on or happening or whatever. But again, easily staged like the first one, you know, for the intention of being recorded and it just being an odd thing to see. But let me know what you think and we'll move on to the next one.
Serious snow. During the heavy Texas snowfall,
I'll let it play, guys, but I have actually
a
seen
local
this one.
resident stepped outside with his usual
it is
oxygen
odd.
acetylene torch to clear the driveway. He had done this many times before without any issue, but this time, the snow refused to melt.
I'll use plain old game first.
Instead of turning into water, it darkened wherever the flame touched it, almost like the surface was solid and resistant. The reaction didn't look natural at all. It felt less like winter weather and more like something strange hiding in plain sight.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay guys, we'll drink of that one. Like I said, I have seen that one before, and I thought the same thing as I do this time. I'd love to see more testing done on it. You know, it's not fixated enough for me to be able to give an account whether I think it's more plausible to be real or if it's falsified. But you know, there's a few things like I mean, I'm not here to debunk. I'm here because I'm generally fascinated. I generally believe that there is something, there is some very odd things going on with UFOs, UAPs, alien sightings, paranormal, unexplained glitches and things like that. There's definitely things out there that are more plausible than others. But if I'm going to go down the debunk route, then this could be a white piece of carpet that looks like snow, because even though the snow didn't melt, it did look charred, which, you can see there's grass, so it could be that there was, that was the grass that had been burnt. I don't know, but I'd like to see somebody with some sort of sharp object and chipping away at the snow, or trying to attempt to chip away at the snow. But I'd like to see more surrounding that one. So as weird as that is, because if that was real, then that is odd, because why would snow not be burnt? Why would snow not be melting under those immense temperatures? It would defy the laws of physics. But let me know what you guys think. But I'd just personally like to see more, surrounding footage, and more attempts to try and clear in the snow, to make it feel more real for me. So let's have a look at the next one. Here we go.
One area rain. In Scotland,
Another
a
rain.
local witnessed a strange phenomenon. It was raining on one side, while the sky was clear and sunny everywhere else. Clouds covered one area, but beyond that, everything looked completely normal. No other signs of rain, no wind, nothing unusual. Just this perfect split between storm and sunshine. It was surreal, as if nature itself was paused and edited in one spot. Have you ever experienced anything like this? If so, share your story in the comments below.
ये लगी है बारिश और यहाँ कोई बारिश नहीं है.
Okay guys, let me know what you think on that one. This one isn't really, I'm not going to be talking much about it because I've got to be honest, I couldn't even see any rain. I could see water, but then on the other side I could see floor water sprout things, fountain sprinkler things. So that one doesn't hold a lot of water for me at all. But I did tell you about the story earlier about me being in Florida when I was young, and I put my arms out and it was raining on one side and not raining on the other, because there's got to be an end point at some point, but I couldn't honestly see even any rain in that. If I missed it, you guys let me know what you think, but I don't know much water on that one. Let's see it.
Basketball glitches. Any NBA fans here? If yes, watch this carefully. During a match, one player passed the ball to another, but you can clearly see on camera that he didn't actually throw it, yet the other player still got the ball.
What?
And that's not all. In another strange incident, a player scored, holding the ball in his hand, and in the blink of an eye, the ball disappeared as if it was never there. Everything else looked normal. These glitches are so smooth Most people wouldn't even notice. NBA fans, drop your comments if you know what this is.
Well, what did you guys think of that? That has baffled me. I mean, I'd love to know if that was live. But that, for me, is absolutely crazy. How on earth... I mean, you can clearly see both instances where the ball's in one place and then it's not, it's in another place. And then when he's scored the ball and he's clearly grabbed hold of it again, and then he turns, all in the same shot, can't see any editing, and it's just gone. You know, it's like the best magic trick, you know, close-up magic trick ever. But let me know what you guys think. I've seen a few of these basketball ones where they all look like they're running in synchronization, but then, you know, the other team had got the ball and they're all turning and running, which is what you would do. So maybe the choreography of it just looks weirder than it actually is. But that one for me with the ball is nuts. Let me hear your views. I'd love to know. Let's go to the next one. Here we go.
Stuck horses. On a rainy afternoon, a woman looked out to check on her horses, expecting them to move or seek shelter. Instead, she froze. The horses stood motionless, every muscle locked, completely still, as if they had turned into lifeless statues.
That one's here, just move at the front.
Completely, she froze.
Watch the one on the left.
Horses stood motionless,
every
every
muscle
muscle
move then.
Completely still, as if they had turned into lifeless statues.
Still looks weird.
This is so weird, you guys. It's so weird.
That tail move,
this
brown
is so
one.
Weird, you guys.
Could just be the wind.
It's so weird. There's one over there.
Not a single twitch or flinch betrayed life. Shaken and unsettled, she grabbed her phone and began recording, capturing the surreal scene. Nothing in the surroundings explained it, and the unnatural stillness left her feeling like reality itself had paused around her.
Hey guys, what did you think? You see me rewind. The left ear of the front horse definitely moved, twitched right as he was, you know, doing the talk overlay. But it's very odd. It's you know, a bit like the dog's one. The only difference is that, I mean, a dog's tail is firmer and they were short-haired dogs, so you couldn't see their hair blowing in the wind. Whereas the second horse, the dark brown horse, you can see the tail just flutter. It's clearly raining, so I don't think there's anything fake to this video at all. It might look odder than it actually is, but it definitely looks like that they've been paused. They are freakily still. Even with the first one's ear twitching and the tail, which is a lot lighter, and, you know, hair blowing in the wind, you know, that's not the physical movement of the horse. It's very weird, but I'd love to hear your guys' opinions and thoughts on it. Leave them in the comments, and yeah, I mean, that one seemed very real. Like I said, you can see the raindrops, no breaking, no editing, so I find that one quite plausible. Whether it just looks worse than it actually is, I don't know, but that was odd. Here's the next one.
Joe Biden glitch. Back when Joe Biden was president, during a Juneteenth celebration, everyone around him was dancing, laughing, and enjoying the event. The music was playing, the crowd was energetic, but he suddenly appeared stuck in place. He wasn't blinking, barely moving, almost frozen like a paused frame. Even when he later shifted slightly, the movement looked stiff and unusual. Some people online began calling him a robot because of that moment. Seeing a former president freeze like that didn't look ordinary at all, and the clip quickly went viral.
Okay guys, thoughts on that one? Yeah, it's odd. You know, similar to the woman that earlier on that was clapping and then just went to frozen moment, being that was back in a time where technology wasn't as advanced as it is today, when Joe Biden would have been president, before, you know, Donald Trump's second term as he is today. Yeah, it's very odd. It's just, they just look, it doesn't, I couldn't even see breathing, you know, it's just a weird motion to go from doing something to not, and, you know, everyone's moving around him, you know, there's plenty going on, and he's just frozen there. You know, it doesn't look like a relaxed, like, even if he doesn't want to participate, his arms look slightly out more than at his side where they'd be in your natural drop. It does look very odd, and even when he does slightly move, that's almost like, you know, if he is a robot, he's being rebooted, and it was like, but that was very odd. I've seen other ones with Joe Biden and other, like I said earlier, public figures where there's been some very weird moments caught on camera. Whether or not they just look weird as opposed to what they actually are, who knows? Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see the next one.
Cut. A guy in Texas noticed something strange in the sky. He saw a huge cut in the sky, and behind this cut, there was only darkness. The cut looked scary. He recorded a video of it and shared it online, where people gave various comments. Some believed it was nature exposing that there was darkness behind the sky, while others thought it was a glitch. Everyone was amazed and confused by what they were seeing, as it looked completely unreal, yet captured on camera.
Thoughts, guys? I mean, this one, there's not a lot. It's not great footage. I'd like to see again more zoomed out, more of the surrounding area. What I will say is that this one for me doesn't feel very real. The actual rip or tear or smash, call it what you like, looks very different to the rest of the footage. It looks very defined, and for me it looks like it's an overlay. Whether or not it is, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. All of the flat earth theorists out there and conspiracists, you know, you'll be loving that, because if it is real, then, well, gives two possibilities. One is Matrix glitching, simulation, or two, we actually do live on a flat earth, domed, like a massive worldwide version of the Truman Show. I don't know. You tell me what you think, and we'll move on to the next one. Here we go.
Two sunsets. Let's head now to Mexico, where a strange event happened. Two sunsets at the same time. The sun didn't look weird, but watch this clip. You can clearly see that on the right, one sun is setting, and in the same way, on the left, another sun is also visible. The two suns appeared together for a short moment. Some people thought it might be a reflection, but reflections don't look like this. There were clearly two suns visible in the sky at once, something more than a glitch. I say,
Okay guys, thoughts? Looked like a scene out of Star Wars. I don't know what to make of it. You know, there is clearly two suns. Well, two items that look like suns. I really don't know what else it could be. You know, I think I'm stretching here, and this is what I say with a lot of people that do debunk stuff, especially when it's scientifically done, when they're reaching a little bit further than it's less plausible for the debunking than the actual scene itself that they are debunking. But what they might say in this scenario is that there's somebody down one end. I'd have said the right one looks more like the sun. The left one was slightly different, not a lot, but it could have been one of those massive, you know, hydrogen bulb lens things down the other end, like the bat symbol, you know, something like that. But I am reaching, you know, again, editing, but it looked pretty fluent to me. Didn't see any cuts or breaks or glitches. But let me know what you guys think. But that one was weird. Even though it could be, you know, easily sort of, you know, faked, it just felt real, and I can't explain what it was. Here's the next one.
Frozen bird. Let's head to Indonesia, where something happened that completely puzzled everyone. People noticed a bird in the sky that was stuck in one place. It wasn't moving at all. Normally, this is impossible. Even a rescue team was called in to try and make it move or fix whatever unseen force was holding it. They even tried using a stick, but it couldn't reach the bird. This strange glitch left everyone shocked, as no one could explain how a bird could remain suspended in the air like that for so long. Bald.
Okay, thoughts, guys? I don't know if it's that one I've seen, but there's a few bird ones out there, and very similar scenario where they ended up poking the bird and the bird actually flew off, all in the same scene. Really realistic. But this one again, I mean, yeah, it could be an overlay, but this one doesn't seem like that crack or split or tear in the sky. This one, it looked like it was all similar colouring, similar pixelations. And the weird bit for me was the wings actually up, because, you know, if you're treading water, you're using your feet to tread water, and obviously on top you'd appear pretty much still or stillish. But if this bird, you know, we all know the basics of physics and, you know, aviation in terms of flight and, you know, the motion that it does with its wings. If they're just stuck up, it's going to fall because it's got no motion to keep it up. You know, gravity is going to literally suck it down to the ground. So this one for me is weird. You know, there's a show that I watch on Discovery Plus, and if you've not watched it and you love this type of stuff, highly recommend. It's called Unexplained Caught on Camera, I think. And there's also another one if you're into your ghosts and things, or paranormal, which is Paranormal Caught on Camera. Both absolutely brilliant shows. There's some things in there that are just so out there and unexplainable. I remember seeing one where, I think it was in Florida, and it was a palm tree, and there was a leaf, and he'd zoomed in, or she'd zoomed in, and the leaf had actually fallen and dropped and was suspended in midair. That was really weird. There was another one on the same show where it looked like a bit of clean film cellophane, where it was just above one of the bins that you press on to make the lid go up. Now what was really good about this footage is that the person taking the camera of it actually went all around underneath it, to the side of it, a whole 360 of this clean film. I can't remember if they actually grabbed it or not after, you know, the end of the video. I think they might have, but it was really weird how it was just suspended there. I mean, some skeptics might say static electricity or something like that, because it's so light, but it was really weird. But if you love this type of stuff, Unexplained Caught on Camera on Discovery Plus, or if you can find it on another platform, it's an absolutely awesome show, and there's some things on there that, you know, are just they are literally unexplainable. They're crazy. But let's move on and we'll look at the next one.
A woman was recording her daughter the night before Christmas. Her daughter was playing with a small stick, moving a ball around. Everything looked normal, but then something unusual happened. The ball suddenly disappeared. One moment, it was near her daughter's feet. The next, it was gone, as if it never existed.
What?
They looked everywhere, but never found it again. These might be loopholes in the glitch. Moments that happen suddenly with no explanation.
Okay guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. That is a bit like the basketball scenario. You know, the ball was clearly there and then it wasn't. And I was looking really close to the screen, and you know, you can even hear the noise of it rolling along the laminate, the wood floor. But it's just gone. It hasn't been kicked out of the way or anything like that. That's very odd, and I find that really hard to say that it's edited. I think that's genuine, but I just can't explain how, what, or why. But let me know what you think, and let's move on.
Glitch. A guy recorded a strange scene that looked impossible. Water was coming out of a tap, but it seemed frozen mid-flow. It wasn't moving, Yet when he put his hand in it, he realized water was actually coming out. Even looking at the floor below, the stream didn't ripple or move at all, as if the water itself had paused in midair. The effect was bizarre and completely unexplained. Like many other glitches, this frozen water defied logic and left anyone watching stunned and questioning reality.
Okay guys, what's your thought on that? That's weird. I did actually skip one, by the way, because watching it was weird. It was about shadows, and that the shadows weren't the exact silhouette of what they should have been. But there was no real texture. It wasn't zoomed out. You didn't see, you know, it could have been completely fake. It could have been a number of different things. It wasn't worth watching. But if you want to watch it, go ahead on the channel, 50M videos, and see it for yourself. But that water one for me was weird. Again, I'm struggling to debunk it. Not that I'm wanting to, but I don't understand. When he puts his finger in it and the water starts flowing, I can't explain that at all. For me, that's, I mean, I'd love to hear your comments, because that looks completely unnatural to me, completely realistic. Yeah, I mean, it looks frozen, right? But then when he puts his finger in it, the bottom of it's flowing, and you know, it's hitting the water on the bottom. I don't understand how that could all be faked and edited in one shot. But you know, I could be wrong. You know, I've said that, you know, during this, that, you know, anything's possible these days when it comes to editing and stuff. But I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments. Here we go.
No return slippers. A group of friends was having fun late at night when one of them casually tossed another friend's slippers into the air. But something strange happened. The slippers never came back down. They just disappeared, as if the sky itself had swallowed them or sent them to another dimension. Everyone stared in disbelief. No wind, no trick, nothing to explain it. Now they didn't know whether to laugh or freak out.
Freak out. Wow, what another crazy one that is. Just like the balls, you know, right in front of your eyes, like close-up magic. I mean, when you see the full clip at the beginning, the person actually, you know, talks as it disappears, and that doesn't feel like it's fake to me. It feels completely real. I can't explain where whatever the footwear's gone. It's like it got swallowed up by an invisible black hole, or, well, I mean, I don't know. It's love to hear your thoughts. Let's have a look at the next one. Here we go.
A man was exploring the fields in a small Mexican town, but then he noticed something strange beyond the fields. He saw a bird in the air, and its wings were moving properly, but it wasn't going forward. It stayed in one spot, despite flapping. Now, if its entire body were stuck and unmoving, that would be a different case. But this bird kept flapping its wings without going anywhere. That was completely different from other glitches he had seen. It was a whole new, strange type of glitch. Bird glitch. In Canada, a tourist noticed a strange scene one morning. In the sky, a bird was completely stuck in one spot. Its wings weren't flapping, and it didn't move at all, even while another bird flew freely nearby. The frozen bird hovered, as if time itself had paused around it.
Vean este pájaro, no se mueve, lo estoy viendo yo, está suspendido en el aire.
Watching this video, it's clear that something unusual was happening. A glitch in reality, because nothing natural could make a bird stay perfectly still, like that in midair.
Okay guys, what do you think of those two? I played the two of them because the second one was clearly another bird one, and I just thought we may as well talk about them both. The first one, yeah, it's I mean, it's less weird than the completely frozen ones for me, because I mean, it could just be that it's jogging on the spot, like we've already said, or, you know, a helicopter hovering, you know, and it just appears that it's completely in one spot, and it's just flapping its wings to keep it where it is, you know, at a certain, I don't know, a certain speed or force to keep it, you know, hovering. But it's definitely odd. But let me know what you guys think. The second one is a lot more weirder, especially when you see the one bird fly underneath. Can't tell if it's 100% a bird, but it's irrelevant. You know, bird or no bird, it's something suspended from the sky. I can't debunk that one. You know, it could be an overlay. It's a very far away shot and it's got an awesome zoom, but it's very odd with the other things moving around. So let me know what you guys think. We'll move on.
A guy was walking in the woods when he noticed something strange, a stone hovering just above the ground. He was shocked because there was no visible...
That just reminded me of what I was saying earlier about the clean film. That's weird, but we'll carry on, we'll talk about it after.
...source holding it up. It floated as if powered by some strange energy. After a while, he spotted another stone doing the same thing. Curious, he collected the stones and took them home. He connected them to an electric wire attached to a bulb, and to his surprise, the bulb lit up. The stones seemed to hold energy, but how and why remained a complete mystery.
Okay guys, what's your thoughts? That one's very odd, like I said. You know, the first stone was just like the clean film that I explained about earlier. I don't know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, because I don't know how that's against defying the laws of gravity, of the physics that we know, or that think we know. When he took him home, I'm sure he said that he attached an electric wire to the rock, and they lit the light bulb, which isn't very weird for me. I mean, if I've heard of it, which I'm pretty sure it did, if the stone has got any type of metal in it or anything like that, I think even maybe graphite, anything like that, then if you attach an electric lead to that rock, it's going to be a conductor for the light bulb. Whether or not the same can be said for just a stone, just whatever that particular stone's made out of, I'm not 100% sure. But if he's attaching an electric wire to it, then it's not that far out there for me. But let me know what you guys think. If there's any electricians that have a different theory, and we'll see the next one. Here we go.
Sudden cloud shift. A guy went for fishing with his kids. Locked and ready. Clouds above the sky. A perfect day. Before watching ahead, watch closely the clouds. As he threw his fishing gear in the water, suddenly, instantly, the clouds from the sky disappeared. Instant. Watch closely the clouds. As he threw his fishing gear in the water, suddenly, instantly, the clouds. As he threw his fishing gear in the water, suddenly, instantly, the clouds from the sky disappeared.
Okay. I couldn't see a cut.
Not a single cloud was left.
Wow.
You can see this clip again. First clouds, then all gone in a flash. Even he was shocked, wondering what exactly had happened. Maybe we can say it was a glitch in the sky, because such an instant change naturally shouldn't happen.
Okay guys, thoughts? For me, that one is another really good one. You've seen that I played it back a few times because I wanted to see if there was a cut or any weird glitchy movements with the gentleman fishing, but towards the end it actually played the full clip, and yeah, it literally goes from what would be classed as a sunny day with clouds to almost completely overcast. But it was very unnatural as described. It wasn't that it flowed in. It was literally this to that in an instant. Literally like you were editing a movie or something. So I mean, yeah, that's obviously a possibility, but it didn't look fake. But then I don't know, it was such a vast movement. It literally, I don't know how to describe it, but that one was really good for me. But love to hear your comments, and let me know, and we'll move on to the next.
A man noticed something strange on an empty road. A small bicycle was moving on its own, right in the center of the street. There was no one riding or controlling it. He watched in shock, completely stunned, unable to understand how it was happening.
Even
The bicycle
pedals are going
rolled smoothly, as if pushed by some invisible force. Nobody around could explain it, and it didn't make sense in any natural way. The man could only stare, wondering whether he had witnessed a glitch or some unseen power at work. Cryptic message.
Okay, guys, thoughts on that one? I mean, you see a few of those on Paranormal, so I can't say if that's specifically a glitch, if anything at all. It's clearly not been pushed, and I would say it would be a stretch to say it's being pulled. One, because at one point towards the end of the clip, it's going in, the longer version of, to the right that we can see, and you'd 100% see someone. But whether this one's a glitch or paranormal in nature, I don't know, but it's definitely weird, and feels very real. So, I don't know, let me know what your thoughts are and we'll move on.
Back in 2009, in Florida, Texas, and Colorado, something strange happened. On everyone's television screens, a cryptic emergency alert message kept appearing. No matter what channel they switched to, the same message showed up. It felt like a secret signal, and many people were terrified. Online, theories exploded. Some believed it was a doomsday warning, while others thought it was a glitch in the broadcast system. To this day, no one has been able to fully explain what caused the mysterious message, leaving it one of the most unsettling events in recent memory.
This Irvine mom was shocked because I kind of questioned what it was and asked somebody else that was in the house, what do you think this is? I've never seen anything like this before. It was weird.
Sudden disappearance.
Okay, I'm gonna just talk here on that one. Didn't see the message, don't know what was said or anything, so there's not a lot of context to go on there. It could just simply be a broadcasting issue that they've not wanted to admit. Don't really know what more to say on that one, but this is not very plausible for me, that one. So let's have a look at this one.
Watch this clip carefully, because it's truly puzzling. A man was filming from his car, waiting at a light, when he noticed a person walking across the road. The walker moved in front of a stationary car, but never appeared on the other side. The movement was smooth and calm, with no panic or chaos, which made it even stranger. No matter how you watch it, the disappearance only has one possible explanation. A glitch in the Matrix, bending reality right in front of the camera.
Wow.
Where did he go?
Okay, guys, what do you think of that one? That, for me, is a new winner. There doesn't seem to be any breaks or pause edits or anything going on. You can clearly see him walking from the, approaching from the right. You can even see him walking, as walking through the screen and everything. And then on that last bit of the vehicle, nothing. And that felt really spookily real as well. Let me know your comments, let me know your thoughts, because that one for me is probably the best so far, the most convincing so far. Let's see the next.
Biden pizza mystery.
Okay, guys, I've seen this one. It's very odd. It's Joe Biden during his presidency again, taking a bite of a pizza, but when it's zoomed in, it doesn't look like it's that anything's been taken. And then where I've paused it here, you can see that there's clearly a bite mark taken out. But we'll play it through, but I don't hold much plausibility on this one. And then obviously I'll move on to the next one and we'll do a talk about that one afterwards.
During a public event, Joe Biden appeared completely normal until a bizarre moment occurred. He picked up a slice of pizza and brought it to his mouth, but instead of eating it, he pulled it back, untouched. Then he mimicked chewing, smiling instead of eating it. He pulled it back, untouched. Slice of pizza and brought it to his mouth, but instead of eating it, he pulled it back.
It almost, have a check yourself, guys, but it did almost. I noticed it then when it came back out of his mouth. The tip that should be gone looked like it flicked back, like it was an edit, maybe AI. And looking at it now in more detail, where I have paused it, you can see a slight discoloration between the bit that would have been bitten, and then the bit that appeared to flick back when it came out of his mouth. So I don't know if there's some trickery at play here. I've not noticed that before, but see what you think.
Touched. Then he mimicked chewing, smiling and nodding as if everything was ordinary. The action looked unnatural, raising question. Was it intentional or some strange glitch in reality? No one could explain it, leaving viewers stunned and unsure whether they had just witnessed a simple act or something far stranger. Couple
I don't know about that one, guys, but I'd love to know what you guys think.
disappearance. Outside a quiet cafe, a couple sat calmly, enjoying the day. Suddenly, they vanished without a trace, gone in an instant, as if erased from existence.
What?
Bystanders stared in disbelief, searching for any sign of them. But there was nothing. 1 second they were there, the next, nothing remained.
Okay, that's weird.
There was nothing unusual about the
do
couple
that?
themselves. It seemed like a brief tear in reality had swallowed them up. A tiny glitch that removed them from the world in a way no one could explain.
Okay, guys. Like I said, let me know about the Joe Biden one. But that next one was weird. People just disappearing, and there's lots of people going around like, what has just happened. I'd love some more context and background to this. I'd love to know if we know who the people are, and be able to speak to them and ask them, did anything happen? Did you notice that you disappeared? Again, yeah, there's plenty of editing software where they could be phased out, maybe. I don't know. Let me know if you guys, are good at tech and stuff like that, if that's possible. But for me, that seemed very fluid, very real, very natural, but in an unnatural way. I'd love to know what you guys think, and we'll have a look at the next one.
Glitch. During a live football game, the goalkeeper lunged for the ball, but something
Live football game. So this will be interesting.
odd occurred. The ball slipped past him, hit the post, and began moving away. Then, in under a second, it returned perfectly into his hands. The motion was seamless.
Hold on a second, guys. What the hell just happened there?
During a live football game, the goalkeeper lunged for the ball, but something odd occurred. The ball slipped past him, hit the post, and began moving away. Then, in under a second, it returned.
That's crazy. So, in the red now, you guys, you can see the ball where it's bounced back, but then it's in his hand.
Past him, hit the post, and began moving away. Then, in under a second, it returned perfectly into his hands. The motion was seamless.
It's like he pulled it
leaving
out of the
everything
bar.
around looking normal, and nobody seemed to notice. Only the camera captured the impossible moment. Events like this hint that
And that's
glitches might be
live.
occurring all around us, subtle and unnoticed, bending reality for just a split second, while the world carries on, oblivious.
Atención que va arriba. Va Barco, vino al centro, cerradito, chiquito.
What? Okay, guys, I'm not gonna do a full screen talk on that one because I think it's quite apparent my thoughts on that one. Let me know what you guys think, because that's live and that's nuts.
Dice Mystery. Back in 2014, in Texas, during the inauguration of a cultural games event, Sandra Hayden was invited to throw a big dice using a throwing machine. Normally, the dice would fly through the air and land a short distance away, following physics as expected. But this time, it barely moved, dropping almost immediately without any lift. It just looked as if the dice had broken the rules of reality for a brief, impossible moment. Out of nowhere appearance.
Okay, I'm not gonna do much of a talk on that one either, guys, because I didn't see. I'd like to have seen the full thing, the full video, the full panning. So we'll just move on that one. Let me know if you guys think anything of that one.
A woman was just heading home when she saw something strange in the middle of the road. A tiny black object appeared out of nowhere, right in her path. But as she watched, the object suddenly transformed into a real squirrel. There was no source or explanation for how it appeared there.
What the He just came out of
Literally.
nothing! Don't run!
for how it appeared there.
What the
The object's tiny black object appeared out of nowhere, right in her path. But as she watched, the object suddenly transformed into a real squirrel. There was no source or explanation for how it appeared there.
What the He just came out of nothing! Don't run towards me!
After a few moments, the squirrel casually walked away, leaving her stunned. That brief, impossible transformation felt like a glitch in the Matrix, revealing that reality itself can sometimes shift in ways we can't explain.
Okay guys, thoughts on that one? Because at first I was like, it's come out of a hole or a pothole or something. I don't know, or if it just appears that there's a bump maybe in there. I don't know, but that looked so weird. Love to know what you guys think on it, but I'm stretching with that one to try and find a logical solution. That was another really good one. That is going to be the last one I'm going to show today. If you do want to go and check it out yourself, it is on 50M videos, and there's loads on there for you to look at. Okay guys, so that's bringing us to a close to this particular episode on the Matrix or simulation theory. A few things I just want to mention that fall into this particular theory or conspiracy is things like deja vu, which we will speak about. It is mentioned in my book. Deja vu, obviously, where we feel at that particular moment in time where we have already lived it for those split seconds. Now, there is a psychological reasoning given behind this, but it is very, very spooky. I've experienced it many a time, and it doesn't matter how many times it happens, how many times I hear a doctor or psychologist or scientist describe it or depict it. It's very eerie, very spooky. Then you've got the Mandela Effect, which again I've experienced. There's probably a very even split, or more 40-60 to people. The famous one that I use is the Monopoly Man, where he's got the glass eye glasses, whatever it's called, a manacle. I'll find out and I'll let you know. But the people that made Monopoly have said that that's never been the case. Now, I did see a clip where one of the money actually had I think it's a monocle, but anyway, but whether that was faked or not, it's hard to prove. But I distinctly remember the Monopoly Man having that glass eye, especially in the older original Monopoly. So what do you guys think? Have you ever experienced anything like that? But that's the Mandela Effect, where a large amount of the population believe that it had something or didn't have something that it now does, and that's not the case. It's our perception. You've also got things like optical illusions, which I've said about the rotary blades on helicopters, and things like that. There is things out there that can be explained, have been explained, and seem reasonable. But then there's other things that again I've spoke about that are just really far-fetched to me. So, but let me know what you guys think. You've also got things like if the Matrix theory or simulation theory are real. Things like the paranormal could be very easily explained. The multiverse, wormholes, the universe. There's gonna, it would answer a lot of questions. It would open a lot of questions and start a lot of questions, but it would answer a lot of questions as well. But love to know what you guys think. On a final note, I'll leave you with this: if we do live in the Matrix and we are simulations, virtual reality, who built it? Who controls it? And why? Thank you all guys for joining me on this episode of One Opinion in 8 Billion. Please, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and share where possible. And I'll see you for the next one. Take care, guys.
Thanks for watching the 1 Opinion in 8 Billion podcast. The truth is rarely simple, but the questions are always worth asking. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and join the conversation, because the biggest questions in life deserve to be explored.